You were, I think, the first other gay Asian friend that I ever had, close friend, certainly close
Mm-hmm.
friend that I ever had. And it really, I think, meeting you and becoming friends with you affected the trajectory of my own life in the ways I saw myself and in the ways like, I don't know, it really broke me out of a certain mindset about being the only one in existence. And I think that there's a sort of thing that happens, especially when you're a double minority, that
Mm-hmm.
really makes you feel, and you're, especially when you're socialized to believe that you're the only one. Um, and it was like your friendship has been life changing to me, Bowen.
Joel, I've sent you so many earnest ass messages out of nowhere. Um, I feel the same. But there is this like mentality shift whenever um you're able to sit with the idea of someone else being like sharing like some like post with you, and you're like, oh, I'm not like this is, I'm sorry, I keep citing her book, but this is another thing that Kathy Parker
Everybody,
writes
you
about.
must read Minor Feelings.
You must read Minor
Everybody.
Feelings. But she just writes about how like you are sort of like programmed to there is this Asian thing where you're programmed to immediately be like, wait, why is there another one in the room? Like that the first response is one of
Mm-hmm.
like, like suspicion or anxiety or something. And with you, it was just very, very, very natural. And that, first of all, that's not to say that like that first response I was talking about, where it's like you're like suspicious, like that's
Well,
like,
that did happen. Let's just fully call it out. We had a
yes,
mutual friend in New York. The way
that's right.
that Bowen and I met was a, a mutual friend put us on a Facebook message, group message,
Yes.
and literally said the words,
White
a
friend.
white friend, and literally said the words, "You're both gay and Asian and do comedy. You should be friends." And I believe we put off meeting a full calendar year, if not longer,
Yes.
because we
Yeah.
were so like stubborn about like I was immediately suspicious. I was like, no,
I
I
was
don't
immediately
want to.
turned off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
immediately. And it was only because of the forum and the way in which we were introduced, I think. And then when we finally did get together, I think it was like, oh, this is so much better than trying to like forge a path as the only one. But like, how do you think your your queerness and your race have intersected in the ways in which it has affected both identities, if at all? And I
Hmm.
know that's a heavy question, and I know you have so many different ways you could answer it, but
Yeah.
has it
What?
affected you?
Absolutely. I feel like it might be fair to say that at first consideration, it feels like they're identities that are somewhat at odds with each other in terms of like gay Western identity, like Western gay identity, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
um, which in a lot of ways sort of like devalues Asian people in some way,
Mm-hmm.
or sort of puts Asian people in this weird like purgatorial status in the gay community. That feels like it's at odds with my Asian identity, which in a lot of weird, bizarre ways has also messaged something around like, you don't be gay, don't be gay,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So having those two things be like weird diametrically opposed poles in some ways, like having those two things like have to tightly be wound together is um really, really, really tough. But then it's also like holding those two identities of being gay and Asian have, I guess, made my skin a little thicker. Like I've got, like, you and I have gone through traumatic things.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like we have relatively good heads on our shoulders. And I feel like that is a virtue of us like having to build so many coping mechanisms out of thin air and pull them out of
Mm-hmm.
nowhere and just be like, well, I have to survive this. And so this is how I'm going to like deal with it. And so I don't know. I feel like it's just made me cope better, but
Yeah.
I do kind of spiral every now and then.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
that's the
Constantly
reality.
spiraling.